It took many attempts to survive 100 days. I died by lava, TNT, Herobrine hit me off while I was trying to fight the dragon, and many other ways. They say the third time's the charm, so the 33rd time must be a guarantee. And this time, it was. This is what happened. Day 1. As the world loaded in around me, I breathed in that new world smell and got straight to punching trees. I made myself a wooden pickaxe, and soon I was on to stone tools. The next goal was food, so the hunt was on. Several woodland animals sacrificed themselves for the sake of my survival, and for their sacrifice, they will be forever immortalized in this video. I decided to climb a nearby mountain and look for anything useful. There in the distance, I saw a village. I didn't hesitate to loot the village for all that it was worth. I found some nice iron armor and gear, and had a saddle on day 1. I crafted myself up some bread, and I also found some apples which I could turn into golden apples, so that way I can regenerate my health, because this is mega ultra hardcore. And just like that, day 1 was already coming to an end. I munched on some bread as I watched the sun set, before quickly realizing that with the night comes mobs, so I ran for a bed. Day 1 of my journey was over, but I had no idea what I had gotten myself into. Day 2, I made myself an axe and started chopping down some birch trees. After a full day of chopping down trees, I realized that birch trees don't drop apples. And then at night, I started mining. Day 3 had enough iron to finish my armor set. I also crafted up myself an iron pickaxe and mined down into a ravine. I decided to forego the ravine and mine past it, and here's where I lost my first bit of health. I realized that I was mining under a mountain and a silverfish spawned. Took away half a heart, but luckily I was able to kill it. I decided to go into the ravine using a water bucket, and as I came around the corner, I ran into my first diamond. Unfortunately, I'd finally run into Herobrine. He ran past me, ran past all the mobs, mined the diamond, and threw it into lava, and then he parkoured to safety. I probably should have checked if there was any more diamonds there, but I decided to go strip mining. Day 4, I mined some goodies, some much needed gold, and actually found my first diamonds. I carefully mined them to make sure there's no lava underneath, and I had just enough for a diamond sword and a diamond pickaxe. For the rest of day 4 throughout day 7, I mined for diamonds. I was determined to keep mining until I had at least 24 diamonds, enough for diamond armor. With the last vein, I had 25 diamonds and headed back up to the surface. Day 8, I crafted my first golden apple. It was also so satisfying making full diamond armor in one session, and as I put it on, I felt so safe. I put my old armor on an armor stand, and when the rest of my gold was finished smelting, I made some more golden apples. I felt ready to take on anything. I went to go chop down some wood, and after some persistence, I made a best friend. What do you think I should call him? Day 9, I captured some weird looking cows and got some energy out running laps while torch spamming. This well-lit area I would soon call home. As I was laying down the foundation for my base, Herobrine released the woodland animals and brought them back to the forest. As the sun set on day 9, I was clearing out some dirt as I heard a deathly shriek. A phantom swooped down and attacked me, and I ran for my life, getting in my little hut just in time. After spending all of day 10 shoveling dirt, at night I was finally able to start building a wall. Took a little snack break to heal up, and made my wall 2 blocks high. That way a lot of mobs couldn't get in. Day 11. I feel like a lot of my days were spent chopping wood. I got some sweet sugarcane, and that wasn't the only farm that I made. I trapped a chicken and made a nice little egg farm. Then I went back to work on my base. I spent the night of day 11 building up my defenses. Day 12 I spent detailing the inside of my wall, chopping some more wood, and the rest of my night I spent mining resources. On the morning of day 13, I came out of my mine and decided to check my egg farm. The chest was empty and the chicken was gone. Turns out, while I was mining, Herobrine came and killed the chicken and took everything. After shaking off the defeat, I was determined to make some progress on my house. The rest of day 13 through 14, I built a nice first level with a lovely porch. The morning of day 15, I spent detailing the outside of my wall, got some sand for the windows, and as I was finishing up the second level of my house, I ran out of wood. Day 16 was actually pretty relaxing. I started on a wheat farm and made a cute little potato farm. I crafted myself up a new pickaxe because the old one was about to break, and went mining for obsidian. By day 17, I had myself a nether portal, but I had no way to light it. I made a flint and steel, lit the portal, and with the diamond sword and gold apples in hand, I braved the nether. As I went through the portal, I realized I was in a warped forest. I took a look around and went back through the portal. I also realized I wasn't wearing gold armor. A piglin chased me through the portal, but luckily I was able to kill him. Immediately after that, I crafted myself a shield. Then it was back to the endless task of chopping down trees. As the sun started coming down, I decided to go to bed. Day 18, I got a cow farm together, and I finally finished the roof of my house. Now that my house was finally enclosed, I moved all of my chests inside. Day 19, I went back to my wheat farm and turned that wheat into cows. And from day 19 to 21, I did a lot of mining, but not so much crafting. Day 22, I built a nice blacksmith build where I could craft and smelt whatever I pleased. As the sun rose on day 23, I found an enderman in my base. I assume he teleported in, but just to be sure, I took a look around. And right behind my house, there was a huge hole in my wall. Turns out, Herobrine got his hands on some TNT. He blew a perfect hole in the wall for mobs to be able to get in. After fixing it, I made some nice pathways, enclosed in my storage area, and dug a nice stairway down for an enchantment room. And then after days of not sleeping, I collapsed in my bed and fell asleep right away. Day 24 and 25, I killed every leather dropper in the game, except for horses and rabbits. Okay, I just killed cows. I grabbed a bunch of sugarcane, then I threw together an enchantment table and some bookshelves, and I was ready to enchant. Except I didn't have any levels. After making some shiny new boots, I headed back into the nether. I spent day 26 to 33 mining all the quartz I could find. I wasn't paying attention and I broke my diamond pickaxe. Once I thought I had enough levels, I headed back to my enchantment room, got some pretty decent enchantments on my armor, and made myself another diamond pickaxe. Day 34 and 35, I went mining for gold while looking for another fortress. Once I finally found one, I got into a fight with a blaze. After the fight, I was still on fire, but I was losing a lot more hearts than I should have. I ran for my life. With half health, I turned around and saw 2 hoglins chasing me. I tried to dip right and lose them and almost fell off the edge. I ran for cover and luckily, a crimson tree had grown into the fortress path. I scrambled for blocks, placing them down just in time. As I barricaded myself in, I felt the hoglin's breath breathing down my neck. I crafted up some golden apples as I got ready to brave the fortress. Day 36 and 37, I grabbed all the loot I could carry. I also got knocked down to 2 hearts by wither skeletons. After killing them, it was time to get some blaze rods. Once I'd killed enough blazes, I spent day 38 returning home and unloading all of my loot. Day 39, I made a little nether wart farm and went mining for some gold. Day 40, I captured a piglin and made him trade with me. He didn't have a lot of good stuff, so I found a new friend to trade with. And while I was trading with him, I heard a hoglin growl. I looked up and a hoglin was right there. I ran for my life, and turns out it was just Herobrine trying to get me killed. Day 41 was back to farming wheat. I also crafted a few ender eyes and a place to make potions. On day 42, I felt ready for adventure. I got on my horse and set out to explore. In my travels, I came across a mine shaft. Mine shafts are filled with gold, so I killed everything in my path and loaded up on gold ore. I also found some melon seeds and a golden apple. Then I came across a desert temple. I found a saddle, some enchanted books, and some gunpowder. And you know I grabbed all the TNT. And not too far away, I found another desert temple. This one had diamond horse armor and a mending book, plus more of that sweet TNT. I also found 2 broken down nether portals. One had a golden apple in it, the other had a nice gold block and some shiny new boots. As I looked up, I saw a village ready to be ransacked. Then I left the village after a sudden famine. On day 50, I made it back to my base, crafted my first ender chest, planted my first melon, and started a little cactus farm. Day 51, I started getting ready for the dragon fight. I crafted a bunch of potions of slow falling and some potions of strength, as well as a bunch of golden apples. Then that night, I tried to trade with some piglins to get some ender pearls. Day 52, I jumped some wither skeletons and trick-shotted some blazes using spectral arrows. Day 53, I got my first melon slices, crafted myself up a nice healing brew, and that night in the cold dark rain, I built a nice little house for some villagers. I spent day 54 through 58 building. Once I'd finished my wall, I invited some villagers over to stay in the little house I built forever. I crafted myself up another diamond pickaxe and enchanted it along with a bow. Day 59, I made a sheep farm along with a bunch more potions. Next, day 60, I made a chicken farm and was going to make a netherite mine in my wart farm room. I thought it would be safe, but it was definitely not. So I started digging down right by my portal. I spent the rest of day 60 all the way through day 73 mining for ancient debris. With 24 ancient debris, I could have full netherite armor, a netherite sword, and a netherite pickaxe. On day 74, I made it back to the surface. and I was greeted with a cold rain. It felt good on my skin after spending so long in that nethery abyss. I threw all the ancient debris in the furnaces and dyed a sheep green while I waited. And finally, I crafted 6 netherite ingots. After changing everything into netherite, I donned my armor, and day 74 was the day I accomplished the first of my main goals, acquire netherite armor. Day 75 I spent preparing for the ender dragon fight. I got some sugarcane to make rockets, I bought some arrows, I gathered resources to make arrows, as well as devastated my wheat farm. I finished the day by throwing mending on my pickaxe. On the morning of day 76, I grabbed some water and set out to find a stronghold. I didn't make it too far with my horse before I had to switch over to a boat. It took me a few days to find the stronghold. It definitely took longer than it should have. And to my surprise, I found the portal pretty easily. But I wanted to spend day 81 exploring through the dungeon. I found a single diamond and a pretty good enchanted book. On day 82, I popped what little loot I had into a chest, activated the portal, and after eating a golden apple and drinking my potions, I jumped in, not knowing if I'd ever see the overworld again. I carefully bridged over to the island and worked my way up to the battlefield. I did some 360 no-scopes to take out all the shorter towers, but the taller towers I struggled a little bit more. The first time the ender dragon hit me up, I forgot I had the slow falling effect, and I was terrified. But it actually gave me some time to heal up. After hitting the dragon with a barrage of arrows, I landed the final blow. I stood back in amazement and disbelief as the dragon disintegrated in front of my eyes. I then collected all the experience and the dragon egg, but I wasn't ready to go home quite yet. On day 83, I got myself an ender pearl and went through a gateway. I spent what felt like an eternity roaming through the end dimension. It took longer than I hoped, but then finally, I saw a ship render in the distance. After collecting a bunch of endstone, I pillared up to the boat because I didn't want to fight any shulkers without an elytra on. I excitedly mined through the ship, and I hit an obsidian block. So I moved one over, shot the shulker, and I had myself an elytra. I also got some nice diamond goodies and a lot of gold. Of course, I went for the dragon head, but once I broke it, I just watched it fall all the way down to the ground. I decided this was the time to fly. I picked up the ender dragon head, sneakily looted the city, and threw any extra stuff into the ender chest. I fought just a couple shulkers so I could craft myself up a shulker box, and then I flew away looking for a gateway. I came across a useless end city and finally found a gateway. I tried to pearl through and it took away some of my hearts, but for some reason I didn't go through. So I tried again and it brought me down to half health, as well as spawned an endermite. If I was just a little bit more impatient, I probably would have killed myself. So I crawled through, and with the feeling of accomplishment, I jumped through the portal. I felt so accomplished. After so many stressful things, I took a minute to actually read the end credits. Have you actually read the message at the end of the game? It's actually really weird. And just like that, on day 91, I was back at my base. With just one golden apple to my name, I decided to make some health potions. I ended day 91 by laying my head down in bed. As I drifted off to sleep, I jolted awake, realizing I hadn't seen Herobrine in a long time. Turns out he had been really busy while I was away. He released my chickens and bred them and continued to breed them until he had himself a full chicken army to be released all over my base. So all of day 92 I had to spend killing chickens. Day 93 and 94 I decided to take some time to relax and go fishing. I didn't get anything too special, but it was a good way to unwind. Day 95, I turned all of my sheep green and used all of their wool to hide the torches in my base. Day 96, I remembered that I left my horse out by the ocean, so I got him and brought him home. Then I spent the rest of my day chopping trees and getting leaves. On day 97, I used the wood to decorate my windows. I added some grass and flowers around my base and used the leaves to make some bushes. With just a few days left, I spent day 98 and 99 laying a trap to catch Herobrine. I'm not the best with redstone, so it was a really simple design, but by the end of day 99, I was ready to capture Herobrine. When you're playing on your own world, you can really do whatever you want in Minecraft. But when you're playing with Herobrine, he wants one thing: power. So day 100, in my trap, I put the ender egg, an item I'm sure Herobrine could use to spawn in the ender dragon and take over the world. I ran to get into position and waited a pretty long while for Herobrine to show up. And then, when I heard footsteps, I pulled the lever and I heard him fall. I had finally captured Herobrine in a box of obsidian. I placed the last block so he couldn't get out. And just like that, I survived 100 days in Mega Ultra Hardcore Minecraft. I want to give a special thanks to Luke the Notable, because without his hardcore series, mine would have never happened. Also, I want to thank my patrons, and of course you for watching.